So in the end, it's really not about talent. It's about watching someone who thought they were above it all finally get humbled. And as far as Hollywood drama goes, this is the sort that not a lot of people can look away from.
Following her Eva, Rachel Zegler was recently sued. Scandal. Really, who goes? Mediocre performance and anticipates praise? Rachel Zegler abruptly leaves the stage in Evita.
Rachel Zegler makes a sudden exit from the stage during Evita.
Fans are so enraged that they demand their apologies and a cash refund. And, to be honest, the majority of people still don't even recognize her, or how she really ruined the most cherished Disney classic, Snow White.
Can't talk about woke Snow White film exhaustingly awful, and then say, "Take that, you haters." But now she is hoping that the luminous Evita can eradicate the debacle that surrounded her recent Snow White in Disney's calamitous woke remake.
Rachel, who was cast in West Side Story won a Golden Globe at the age of 17 and received dubbed the next great thing in Hollywood. That Disney gazed at the girl and replied, "Yes, let's give her $270 million for Snow White, as what could perhaps go wrong? Oh, I'm not sure. Everything."
About the very first actress in history to become box office poison before she ever came box office. You know what I'm talking about.
Prior to the film's release in theaters, she was radioactive already. We are conversing levels of box office poisoning. You understand how, for a movie to drown, it must be awful. Before to its premiere, Snow White was supposed to be this fearless feminist revival, but it received 2.2 million instead. Dislikes, international calls for boycotts, and negative comments from those who didn't have to watch it since. Here, Rachel was tending to a fairy, similar to her private therapy sessions. Additionally, after everything went awry, Disney attempted to ignore it, such as, what movie? Snow who?
And then it became like, I will elbow everyone out of the way to play the part.
Walt Disney's own quotation even reappeared, to come back to haunt them. Don't remake Snow White. Yes, that one became popular. And, before we even reached the Evita, this mess. Because if you believed her to be Snow, wait until you hear about the terrible white crash. Regarding the balcony stunt, the sexy pants, and London's complete collapse.
An eyewitness tells E! News that around 15 minutes into the interval, it was announced that her understudy, Bella Brown, would be stepping in to finish the show.
Thus, Rachel is given another chance. Fresh nation, new role, new audience. It's time to. She'll redeem herself, right? False. Her Evita. It became a mockery of its debut. You know, Don't Cry, the famous song. She didn't even sing for me in Argentina. For the viewers who actually paid for it. Cash. Not at all. She led her in a march. Outside the theater, a glitter-covered self. And performed it while standing on the balcony. Without charge. Imagine spending a lot of money on a theater. Costs simply to view Rachel Zegler's face in 720p with echo and street noise.
Bella later said on her Instagram stories after the show, "Today really showed just how important swings and covers are within this industry. They are the pillars of a show. A proud day to be at Evita." Rachel is currently scheduled to return for the July 25th evening performance of the show.
And it wasn't an isolated incident. Tickets were issued, being offered for a literal zero on the internet. Natata. Due to the decline in demand, quick, even desperate marketers were unable to no longer defend charging money. Complete. Even though the rows were empty, they attempted to pretend to be a dramatic inventiveness. Please. Individuals weren't. They were in awe and clapped. They were cheering since it was at last over.
Paying customers are waiting to see her on stage, and she took off and headed to a balcony where she could belt out Evita's hit song, Don't Cry for Me, Argentina, live for free.
The icing on the cake arrived next. Rachel sobbing on stage in a widely shared video, following a standing applause. For example, girl, please. It was not feeling.
It was A.
Public relations performance. The mascara might have been impervious, but the urgency was not at all. It was rejected by critics. Viewers didn't purchase it. The only thing that people refund insurance was purchased.
I'm a white Latina. I hold a lot of privilege. It falls on my shoulders to open up the doors for the people who, or they're disenfranchised.
Let's go back a little to the burning. Snow White was the dumpster fire. Disney lost $270 million due to the disaster. Earn, together with a further $140 million in advertising. It is more than $410 million poured into one piece of film. You would think, with that amount of money, they could at the very least, draw crowds to the theater. But
No.
initially only $43 million.
Domestic.
It's not a failure. That's a monetary faceplant.
I'm a narcissist.
In China, where Disney typically, Golden Goose only brought in less than $1 million. Yes, you heard correctly, less than $1 million in the second largest market for the box office. Individuals spend consuming more popcorn than Snow White produced there. By week 2 it fell 66%, 606%. This was not merely a poor film.
It was A.
Ghost town from a movie.
Theaters began to
Removing it during prime time, forcing it to the inconvenient hour of 11 a.m. Showings during the week, as though it were a community cinematic project for college. A few cinemas just pulled it all the way through. Not much fanfare, no. Just gone warning. Music, claps. The worst part is still to come. Disney insiders seem to place the blame on Rachel. Not the authors, not the advertising group, not those who gave their approval to CGI dwarfs that appeared like figures made of molten wax. Not at all. Rachel. She served as the campaign spokesperson and they agreed that she would represent the failure as well. They termed PR poison. Her. To be honest, it's not exact because Rachel's voice is like public relations. The greatest nightmare for the squad. She continued this press tour and simply exploded. Do you know the first prince? She dialed. He is a stalker. The film is strange. The storyline. No longer about love. She essentially forget, he muttered, standing atop a soapbox. Romance, warmth, or charm.
Snow
White is now a female boss ruler. Excuse me. The blizzard comment followed. Snow White isn't exactly pale, it seems. Skin no longer. It's because she made it through a snowstorm. Yes, we are in that location
right now.
Simply rewrite the legacy in its entirety. While we're doing it, let me introduce Cinderella. Due to the fact that she once cleaned a plate. It makes sense. Additionally, those interviews. Gala do. Oh no. Disgust zero.
Chemistry.
You are aware that there were two coworkers are seated next to one another, clumsily while acting as though pals, because each interview was similar to observing two individuals who would prefer to be anywhere else, engaging in any other activity with anybody else.
The original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so.
Okay.
There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her. Yeah. Weird.
Even Candace Owens and Bill Maher, too. Those who disagree with the hue of Rachel was the worst, according to both The Sky and Hollywood's most famous casting choice.
Take a moment to process that.
She brought two polar opposites just by being disastrously poor at her work. No, that is a skill set. An acting coach is able to instruct. And what's crazy? She wasn't attempting to be subtle at all. Her goal was to burn the entire fairy tale world down. Each quotation, every advertisement, every arrogant red carpet grin was disrespectful to the supporters who loved the original as a child. Additionally, when She didn't push back, but others did.
I'm sorry.
She intensified her efforts.
She
Referred to as outdated love. She made fun of the fairy stories. She actually took over a childhood favorite and changed its name to a feminism talk. That isn't empowerment.
narcissism is that.
That's a 23-year-old who believed a Disney princess gig meant that she was instantly Mother Teresa with a page on IMDb.
No one on the right side of America can stand the star of this movie.
The harsh reality is as follows. No one desired this Snow White rendition. No one desired an activist on TikTok in a
Tiara.
They desired magic. They desired sentimentality. They had a desire, pleasant rather than patronizing. However, Rachel lectured them, side-eyed, and a 2-hour ball identity dilemma.
Gown.
Interviews with Rachel Zegler, like TED lectures that no one requested.
Oh.
Rachel in her classic form. She grabbed all the cameras, every press chance, every microphone, converted it into a talk concerning the womanhood, patriarchy, and the reasons why fairy stories seem to be oppressive these days. Snow White, merely a means of venting. There is a problem with the world. In her opinion,